Hello and welcome back to day 2 of the first Korean server qualifier for the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship Katowice. We just saw Special getting knocked down to the lower bracket by SOS, which puts us in the winner bracket round of 8. And boy, have we got a match for you. It's going to be TY versus Dark.
Yeah, TY was able to actually beat Zest in round 1. So TY, the defending champion from the World Championships, beating the guy that just qualified for Pyeongchang in very impressive fashion. That was kind of a clash of the titans, to be honest, in round 1. You know, like we picked Spatial as one of the matches out there, but also another one that maybe we could have done was that one. And he's going to be facing Dark, who as of late has just been so impressive as well. And really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, going to be really crazy, especially after Zest beat Maru yesterday to get into this stage, for then TY to turn that around and to be, coming in and winning that. It's pretty crazy. So let's see how this goes. Some Terran versus Zerg for us all. So we have to the bottom right-hand side of Ascension to Aya. Our blue Zerg player is Dark. The upper left-hand side, one of the Splice boys, is our red Terran player, TY.
That's a euthermal depot, right?
Euthermal depot? Is that what we call it?
Depot on the low ground. Hey, you're the 10, you tell me.
Ah, I'd never heard of the term euthermal depot.
Yeah, I just made it up.
Ah, okay. Why euthermal? Just
Nah, we don't see that many racks on low ground, at least not personally.
No, it's different. It's very interesting because it means that I guess it means that, especially in this position, your reactor, etc., is going to be so exposed early in the game against early pushes. And honestly, if I was Dark, we saw Dark playing very aggressively in the Pyeongchang qualifiers. If I was Dark coming across and seeing this, I would probably throw down like a Roachron, and not even like super aggressive, just like a few Ravagers and getting like, pressure in a little bit, because you're going to kill a reactor. You're going to kill a depot. It's actually
it sounds like one of
those
those pressure that accidentally kills your opponent, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I wonder what the reason behind this is. I'm thinking maybe something like we've been seeing like a lot of gas pool hatches, which have then been aggressive Ling floods to try and cancel the CC.
Yeah. It's a big gap to wall here, right? Like it takes a long time, so maybe TY willing to take a little bit of a risk for a potentially high rewards, maybe a more aggressive build here with his Expo. Like I like where the factory is, because if he can make the add-on or just right under the racks without really like blocking it and not having it as exposed.
It's very
boom, that's it. Closed in.
Alright, well. Yeah, different. Still the reactor, they're just so exposed. I mean, even a few Lings coming across early could, like, I guess there's a Marine behind already.
Yeah, because you can't repair from the outside. That would be the main thing.
Very, very kind of cool that just the very early game choice of like throwing a depot on the low ground gets us talking so much already. As we see from Dark, well, it's nothing different from him. Ling speed on the way up. It's just one worker in the gas now once he's got the 100 for Ling speed, so not looking to rush out Pneumatized Carapace, not looking to rush out a lair. Probably just a third hatchery soon, and moving on through. Obviously, if he needs a Bane nest, he'll have the gas to get one. If he doesn't need a Bane nest, then eventually just starts up the lair for upgrades, and just to see where he goes from there. As TY, first 2 Hellions on the way out. Classic swap over of the barracks on barracks in the factory onto the reactor.
It's pretty cool. He can chase this away. It's like an integral part of this build order. And now we see an armory starting, so the potential for Hellbats is going to be there.
I think more than just the potential, I think we are just going to see Hellbats, right? And then, well, does Dark have enough to defend? Because that's a very fast armory, you know. There's going to be like a couple Marines, maybe a couple SCVs pulling in.
So he pushed the Overlord away, and Dark does not see this coming now. He's getting a Roach-Run, but Dark is not getting links. Okay, he flies back now. He sees that no units are there, so he's going to start links. Okay, that's a 6 save. Imagine if he had started drones now. That would have been
he'd be
big trouble.
Maybe even a little bit dead, because honestly, when the Hellbats start roasting us, if there's just a couple of Lings, things get out of hand very quickly. As the first Hellbat started morph, and that third hatch is going to be in trouble here. As TY is also going to start losing the reactor, though. Nothing at home to defend, and so Dark is going to start working his way through this. There's no repair, like we mentioned.
TY is going to bunker, actually, on that third base. He wants to take it out here. Might have to restart that add-on. He actually starts it on the barracks. That's pretty smart, because then in the meantime, he can still make 1 Hellion at a time for more Hellbats. Dark trying to take the fight here, just mostly using the Queens here as the main damage for now, trying to delay the Ling attack into this. But the bunker is going to finish in a second, and there's 2 Marines here ready to get loaded into it.
Without the medevac, those Hellbats do end up dropping quite quickly. He is going to see Lings actually coming in. That's a surround on a Hellion, but I'm not sure if it's really a good surround, especially if we're moving to Hellbat. I
Look at that guy.
Will win out.
He's a zealot for one day in the wall, holding the line.
Finally got the upgrade into the Protoss army. It's every Terran's dream lately.
And TY immediately goes into +1 vehicle weapons as well as one more factory. The third CC is already on the way as well. Doc setting up for a huge counter attack here. He's like, you know what? You want to have your wall at your expo. And actually, okay, TY spots this. Now seeing these units there, he knows that there should be units headed across the map. He's going to start at least one bunker as well as 2 Marines, but that wall is not going to be hard to breach.
Oh, and honestly, this bunker's not doing enough either. It's not going to get the third hatch. And, well, I mean, we already saw one reactor going down, right? The depots are exposed to the point where TY doesn't even try it.
Yeah.
GG's out, realizing that Doc's just going to have way too much, and Doc is going to end up taking game number 1 of this best of 3.
That was a cool attempt, though, by TY. I feel like if Doc had gotten a little bit sloppy, hadn't flown back his Overlord and seen that there was no units behind the wall and there was a big attack coming, he might have been, you know, getting caught off guard and maybe lost his third base. And then from there, I guess TY would be the one on 3 bases against just 2. He would have enough units to really pile on with the attacks and just get too far ahead. So good job by Doc in seeing this, really, and reacting properly.
Scouting is so important in these sort of scenarios because Hellbat attacks really just are fueled by momentum, right? And like, if you start to snowball, suddenly you lose the queens. And if you lose the queens, you don't get more units. You don't get more units, the Hellbats just keep doing damage to the point where it does just get ridiculous. And that's what you're hoping for. Like, the ideal scenario is the Terran. Obviously, this was quite the opposite. Doc had plenty of units to the point where he's even counterattack, and he keeps the third base alive.
Yeah, he stayed patient as well. Like, he engaged with the queens and the links, then pulled back the links, and then sent them back again when he needed to. And I mean, at the end of the day, all that matters is that he saves his hatchery, and then he has enough for the counterattack as well. Just stay low on the drone count and knew the whole time what was happening. TY, sadly, not only did his attack not work, he also didn't have enough at home because he went for the third CC and some upgrades. So good job by Doc.
Yeah, an interesting game just with that low ground kind of wall off in the first place. Doc getting across there.
Does it make you when I try this build against Zerg?
No.
Or?
No, because I know like 9 times out of 10, like 3 roaches are going to arrive, morph into Ravagers, kill everything. I'm just going to be like, sat behind my wall with like a couple of Marines, like, this doesn't feel good, man. I swear though, like it's kind of super risky against something like a fast Ravager because you're going to lose. I guess usually you lose kind of the depots on your wall anyways. But now you're factoring.
Okay, what do you think then?
Together.
Okay, you get this depot and barracks like this, and then you make a bunker at the front. So you bait it out of the Zerg.
I guess.
Then the bunker dies and you die.
Then I just can't even. I guess maybe with the bunker there you're okay. But then there's still like one side you can bust through and just.
If you make it at the front, then you're exposed as well by like links and roaches. Like if that bunker gets blown up, you just die. Yeah,
it's really strange. I can't think of any scenario where it really helps out. I guess the faster wall on the low ground, but even then I'm not sure if it's up in time to protect against like a link flood.
I think the whole point was to push the Overlord back.
Yeah, I think so.
And then to catch him off guard with the Hellbats, but Dark was smart enough to say, oh, you push me back, I'm going to fly there. Like, you can't afford to have your barracks in the air the whole time to spot my Overlord, saw the units missing, and then realized what was happening.
Doc was like, oh, I know the one thing you could do this for is to do this attack. Figures it out. All right, well, down a game already here to the bottom right-hand side of the map is our red Terran player. It is TY. And to the upper left-hand side, the blue Zerg is Doc.
He's blue, Ardy.
Yeah, he's just leaving that deal out one time. You're correct, he is blue. The winner bracket round of 8 here. So after this, we actually get into best of 5s for a little bit because we have 2 qualifying matches. It's going to be pretty awesome.
Are we going to see another special build out of TY, or do we see more normal play? TY, one of the vocal Terrans out there, has been talking about Terran in the meta currently.
Did you see his video about...
I read a little bit about it,
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
I don't think I need to see it to know what he says.
Yeah, I could take a pretty good guess before I watched it as well. This is different from Dark from the get-go. Already kind of a pool first into the hatchery, so you will have a few Zerglings to try and maybe slow down a CC from building, force the Reaper to stay at home if it is a Reaper, which it is from TY. So already Dark playing a little bit more, potentially aggressively here with the pool first. I mean, it's also a safety thing, but 6 Zerglings is a very aggressive form of this.
Very Bly-esque in his production, Waldy.
It is. It's very, I want to win this game or take a huge advantage right from the get-go. No gas though, right? So he's just taking that now. So it's not like he'll have speed to flood with afterwards. It's just going to be these first 6 lings Well, TY does an SCV scout, so the Reaper probably will move across the map unless he plays it very safely. It's hard to know because he didn't go for the Reaper in the last game, but it is rallied to move over, in which case those Zerglings really could have a pretty great time here.
Yeah, the winner of this, by the way, will play Innovation or Classic, which is a pretty big match as well. In a qualifying match, best of 5, you mentioned it.
It's going to be a pretty interesting series as well. We'll see if Innovation can also get past his recent block with Protoss players.
He beat Bunny in round 1, actually, Innovation, which is impressive because Bunny's been on a tear.
He actually did that in the Pyeongchang qualifiers as well, I believe, in the first round of losers bracket. As we do see, Lings are going to jump on in, and they are going to be forcing the cancel on the CC. I mean, that's the dream scenario here for Dark. Gets the cancel, will get the SCV as well. Backs away and hasn't lost anything. The Reaper across the map is probably being deflected by a Queen. Isn't even doing that. It's just sat on the third hatchery, waiting for it to come down. That's already Dark pushing himself into a lead here early on.
TY didn't even consider for 1 second. Pulling away his SCV, sending some more pulling, I don't know, pulling some walkers. No, he's like, you know what? Let me just cancel that, restarting on the high grounds. This has to be pretty good for Dark.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge delay, right? It was, 60, 75% of the way built, so that CC was almost finished. Now you have another kind of, like 80 seconds or so for it to build up all over again. Plus the fact that you've got to now float it down from the high ground to the low ground. And all of those are just seconds ticking up, while Dark, all he did for this was go pool instead of hatchery first.
I almost feel like, I don't know, maybe TY is like a little bit emotional in the way he's playing and, some of his decisions.
Maybe he just can't believe he beat Zasman.
Yeah, that's what's happening,
He's still getting over it.
He needs to keep his eye on the prize, though. Like he's the defending champ, technically, right?
Yeah, no,
he's the guy that made all this money last time. Remember, there's $400,000 on the line in Katowice, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind having another pretty good year because he had a hell of a 2017. I tell you what, TY, as much as he's been complaining a lot, or like about certain matchups, in particular like Protoss and stuff lately, I feel like he's the last guy that should get on social media, Twitter and all that, and be like, 2017, you really haven't been kind to me. No, like no, not you, TY, not you.
He's not making that like New Year's tweet where he's like, oh yeah, man, like 2017 was okay, but 2018 I'm really gonna break through.
I mean, he could have had one like that where he's like, 2017 was great, but 2018 will beat it. No. Like, come on. I guess you always shoot for higher, right? Yeah, like aim higher every time.
What's aiming higher for him this year? Like winning IEM,
winning
WCS
everything.
and BlizzCon?
Yeah.
I mean, sure.
Why the hell not?
I mean, I guess so, but quite the goal, isn't it? USCV is going to come down to low ground. Be hard push to win WSG considering he's already out as well. Did you see this Viking is going to be moving around, a few Marines as well, and Hellions, just everything setting up here from TY off the back of what wasn't a great start in Dark. I mean, he's just running like a madman here, already a 10-worker lead, and that's only going to increase with 7 more drones in production.
Production is insane at this stage. Like, don't count on him to miss injects either, or get supply blocked. This is a Maynard stream we're watching. Shout out to Maynard.
I saw that tweet as well earlier.
Oh, well, the funny thing is I tuned in, I watched a little bit, and then he got supply blocked almost instantly after I tuned in. He was like, oh, God.
Good Maynard, man. Red ZC Star has finished up here. The scout from Dark does confirm that this is Bio, by the way. It's not going to be mech from TY. So I wonder how Dark responds to this, because so far he did build the Roach Roar, and he's built a few Ravagers. I wonder if he sticks with sort of Roach-based play, and I guess the answer to that is yes, he will. Roach speed starting up as he goes into the double Evo, so Dark going to play a Roach style here with Banes, it seems. Kind of like Roach Bling Bane, I guess, perhaps. It's an interesting setup that he's going in towards here right away.
TY trying to corner these Ravagers. They are coming from behind. They still pack a hell of a punch. Corrosive Pile is going to be dodged for the most part. He's going to be able to clean up. Not after Darks gets a couple trades. And injures a lot of these units.
This is quite a nice shutdown, though. I mean, that's a lot of gas investment from Dark early game. And TY is able to take advantage of that. Now with Liberator moving across to the top side. He wants to just keep on harassing little bits and pieces of damage, try and slow Dark down while he can, which he needs to do, by the way. He's still 20 workers behind here.
Yeah.
And we expect Zerg to like zoom ahead in workers, but 20 workers is really something that's very difficult to contend with for the Terran player if it's going to be that sort of difference for too long.
Yeah, but he's still doing a good job of pumping out SCVs 2x2, 3x3 very consistently, not really missing a bit with that. And then we know like what some of these top Terrans are capable of, guys like TY and stuff. As long as they can go up to 4 or 5 bases, eventually they're going to be making an incredible amount of units. And usually keeping up nicely with their opponents. You know what I really can't wait for, by the way, at those Intellectual Masters is the first-person view that is being used there a lot of the time as part of the production. I think it's so cool, and I love it.
Yeah, it's really awesome to see kind of the players just, well, in their element, right, getting to show off all that kind of the mouse movement with the screen movement that we don't get to see from the observer's perspective so often. It's, I think it's one of my favorite things that they've added to production over events over the years.
Yeah, same. Really like it. Especially, like, I would say Zergs are probably the most impressive. Like, everybody's quite impressive, but Zergs, their speed is on a whole other level.
I think
if I wasn't a StarCraft player, I think, and then I watched a Zerg play in first person, I might just, like, get some nausea a little bit.
Some of the town players, though, when they ramp up and start dropping, like, through locations, they're all very impressive, of course, as we do see Marines here. Just cleaning that creep, trading a little bit, lifting up and backing away. Meanwhile, a drop to the top side. TY is ramping up those drops a little bit, but mostly just for cleaning creep, controlling the map here, making sure Dog doesn't get too out of control and too comfortable on his own side of the map. Lane speed's on the way in, and switching into melee upgrades as the Hive comes up. So it looks as though it's kind of mostly Ling Bane with some supporting roaches until he hits the Ultralisks. That's probably the way he goes with this, with still a fairly quick Hive here so far.
How many quick queens is Dark on here at this stage?
Only 4.
Yeah, actually, that's the big weakness in his army, is that he doesn't have much anti-air, but I guess if he goes for a big boss like this, it's not going to be that much of a problem. It's going to be more for TY to try and hold down here against these couple Marines on their own here. Kind of stuck out on the map. He does have a lot of tanks. Oh my god. The siege.
Roaches. Oh, wow. Dark moves away just in time. That could have been deadly.
A warning shot.
Yeah. It really was.
I think that might actually... Does it discourage Dark from attacking, you think, to see that many tanks? Or is he still like...
I think it discourages him from him trying to break through those rocks. Maybe he goes like towards the natural or so. I mean, because you've got to be expecting tanks right now, right? He's been playing roaches since the early game.
Could TY expect Vipers this quick and Hive Tech, you think?
I think no.
Well, now, there you go.
Now he does, yes, and I think maybe instantly here he'll... Well, I wonder if he actually does start up some Vikings right away to try and deal with the Vipers, because I still think scanning this and seeing like the Ultra Cavern, I feel like Vipers are like not my instant reaction as the Terran player. I think, okay, you're going to get up to Ultras, etc. Okay, fine. I'll start my Liberator production. If that's what his starport's producing, I mean, obviously the Liberators will help, but the first, a couple of Vikings go a long way just pushing those Vipers back. That freedom could give Dark some blinding clouds that really allow him to take a very solid fight here.
Yeah, and TY usually, like when you see a Hive like this, you have a couple choices. You can either, like the main 2 ones, is either going very aggressive to try to damage before the Hive Tech is there, or going very passive. He was only on 150 supply-ish at the time, so I feel like going passive on a map like this is probably the way to go, but against Zerg, can you really go that passive when they have units like, Infestors and Broodlords that can potentially be added on? And we know how good Zerg does as soon as they go up to like, 10 gases, 12 gases, which is almost unavoidable at this stage here for Dark.
TY is a god of the late game though, so I don't think he's too worried just yet. I mean, he is, while being passive maybe with his overall army, he is on the map with some Medivacs, with some Marines, poking, prodding. I actually love the fact that he's just kept the creep spread so far back here from Dark. I mean, look at it. It's barely too much beyond the 4th and 3rd, or the 4th and 5th hatcheries, which is kind of what you want. You want to be able to get in reach of those hatches. It's not like it's already middle of the map. TY can't move out at all. He still has some of his freedom here, as we will see Roaches. Well, they're looking for ways to kind of trade out, because realistically at this stage, he wants to make these Roaches into better units, Ultras, maybe more Vipers, maybe Corruptors as well. So he's just trying to trade these out as best he can, and generally running by and getting a few SCVs is going to be a good way to do that. So, Intendwork is going down, impressive. TY is not going to falter to it. He is pushing through the center of the map now with his large army, looking to hit a 2-2 timing. But Kindness Blaine's already done. These Ultras are ready to play.
I think TY wants to basically force this army back into the siege line and Liberators to try and clean up as much of that as he can. There's still not that much anti-air, in fact. It's still just the Queens as far as... What? That's 5 Queens? And 3 Ravagers to clean up all these Liberators?
Yeah, but Spire just finished, right? So as he got Corruptors on the way, only 4 of them. Well, it's a start, but obviously still will take a little while to get there.
Units coming from behind on their own. They traded out against 1 tank.
It was okay. I wouldn't say it was amazing, right? Parasitic Bomb on a Liberator at the front. I mean, that's how desperate kind of TY Dog is to get some damage onto these air units at TY.
I mean, he's buying time, right? Also, like, in a way. It's making TY scared of a potential big engagement. And as soon as Corruptors enter the field, they're going to be very helpful against this. That's why we see turrets going up. They're going to help in dealing with this. Here we go. Dark going to engage full on into this army.
He's going to run right on in. Lings and Banes are crushing through this. The Ultras on the right-hand side are going to grab a bunch of those tanks which are in blinding clouds at the moment. Those Vipers have done their jobs. The question becomes, are these Liberators a bit too much? And I think, yes, they are. These Ultras do get pushed back. Both players trade out heavily there. I think Dark is still going to be alright. I think he's still happy with this because he did take away brunt of the army, and now he can maybe get a few more Corruptors up or something to deal with those Libs. Something like, you know, getting the Vipers and just abducting them forwards and just dealing with like 1 or 2 before he fights again might be very nice.
Yeah. I like that TY pulls back actually, because Dark was maxed out at the start of this fight, and he has a big bank and lava, so he just remaxes instantly, and then he would be looking to try and re-engage as soon as possible. TY realizes that, he's like, you know what? I'll just pull back home, regroup, remax, and then do the same sort of attack eventually. Kind of left one tank behind him. It's bad.
He's trying to protect that turret, man. No building left behind. You see a couple of Banes. Well, I mean, Dark is maxed out once again. It's so difficult to push into defensive positions on Abyssal Reef, though, because they are all defended by these big choke points, and the Terran doesn't have to overextend for a long time because he has 5 bases very easily here. Yeah. Which means that Dark really doesn't want to overextend himself. I mean, get the Greater Spire, right? Get, you know, a few more upgrades, maybe build up that kind of Corruptor count, take away slowly with the Vipers. There's a lot of ways he can play around this.
Is TY underestimating this attack here, if there is an attack? Because he's not maxing out. He added 2 more starports, so he went up to 3, and he's stacking 2 ghosts. Yeah, Dark is going to go for a big attack there. TY is not even maxed out. Let's see if this can work.
It's going to come in from the bottom left and from the top side. Those Corruptors are currently just working their way through the Liberators so quickly. Getting a couple of them early with the help of the Vipers really went a long way, and Dark has hit the perfect timing here just before that ghost count really starts to ramp up too high. I mean, a few snipes get off here, but there's barely anything beyond that to the point where it is going to be Dark claiming victory. I think you said it really well there. The fact that TY just was underestimated, he was teching a little bit too hard, the ghosts weren't quite out, is the perfect timing for Dark to end up attacking.
He had 180 supply instead of 200, and he made 2 more starports, and he was pumping out. I guess like he was gonna switch into some sort of like Liberators with range, and just trying to max out with the rest of his army on ghosts. I don't think he realized he was about to be attacked. Like, he made a bunch of turrets, and he was like, he's never gonna attack into this. But his Feast base not being a planetary also didn't help at all. That could have tanked so much damage, especially with repair. And Dark, I don't know if he identified that. I feel like he might have been going for the attack regardless, and he ended up just kind of killing him, which is very fortunate, because that sends him into the qualifying match.
Yeah, Dark is going to be in that qualifying match. We're just going to double check here what those matches might be here before we go on in. What we got, Todd?
Classic 1 against Innovation.
Okay,
so it's going to be Dark against Classic, and Impact 1 against SOS.
Wow, Impact.
And he will face Hero or Deer, so 2 PVZs in the first 2 qualifying matches of the day.
Well, there you go, guys. Those qualifying matches are best of 5, and they are coming up next year in the IEM Katowice Korean qualifiers. We'll be back with more after the break.